Have you ever found yourself in a relationship where something just doesn't feel right? Maybe it's with a friend, a partner, or even a family member. You're trying to maintain the connection, but deep down, you feel like it's draining your energy, eroding your peace of mind and holding you back from living a truly meaningful life. Sometimes, in life, the hardest choices are the most necessary. We all know that relationships are crucial to our well-being, but what happens when those relationships start to take a toll on us? If you're questioning whether it's time to cut ties with someone, this video will help you decide. Today, we're diving into the philosophy of Stoicism to explore 12 clear signs that you should consider cutting off contact with someone. These signs are rooted in principles of personal growth, peace, and integrity, values central to Stoicism. Let's get started. 1. Persistent disrespect. One of the core teachings of Stoicism is the virtue of justice, which insists on treating others with fairness and respect. When someone consistently disrespects you, whether through words, actions, or even their attitude, they are violating this basic principle. Stoics like Marcus Aurelius believed that we should be treated fairly and that justice must be mutual. If someone shows persistent disrespect, they undermine your dignity and violate the trust that is essential for any healthy relationship. Over time, tolerating this behavior can erode your self-worth. Remember, respect isn't optional. If it's missing, that's a huge sign that you need to cut off contact. As hard as it might be, this action protects your well-being and aligns with the Stoic principle of justice. You deserve to be in relationships where you're treated with respect. 2. Negative impact on mental health. Life comes with its stresses. But when a relationship becomes a constant source of emotional turmoil, it's time to reassess. Stoicism teaches that we should strive for inner tranquility, or ataraxia. And if someone in your life constantly causes you anxiety, frustration, or sadness, they are disrupting your mental peace. Mental health is just as important as physical health. You wouldn't keep going back to a situation that physically harms you, so why would you allow emotional harm to continue? If being around someone leaves you feeling drained or stressed out, it's a clear sign that the relationship isn't serving you anymore. Stoics emphasize controlling what is within your power and letting go of what isn't. If someone's negativity is beyond your control, the Stoic thing to do would be to walk away. Cutting off contact with people who hurt your mental health isn't just a survival mechanism. It's essential for maintaining your emotional stability and well-being. 3. Misaligned core values. Stoicism places a high value on living a life that is in harmony with your core values, whether that's truth, justice, or personal integrity. When you're in a relationship with someone whose values significantly differ from your own, this can lead to tension, conflict, and eventually resentment. If your core values don't align, it can create friction that undermines your peace and prevents meaningful connection. For instance, if you value honesty and they frequently lie, or if you prioritize growth and they're complacent, the relationship may cause more harm than good. Misaligned values aren't something to take lightly. They can steer you off your path and make you question your own beliefs. While compromise is essential in any relationship, your fundamental values should remain intact. If you find that your core principles are being compromised or undermined by someone close to you, it might be time to cut off contact for the sake of preserving your integrity. 4. Energy vampire dynamics. We all know someone who seems to suck the energy right out of us. These energy vampires are people who constantly demand your attention, drain your emotional energy, and give very little in return. Stoicism teaches us to conserve our energy for things within our control and avoid unnecessary suffering. If a relationship feels like a one-sided emotional tug-of-war, where you are constantly giving and receiving nothing in return, that's a red flag. These dynamics leave you feeling exhausted, and worse, they prevent you from focusing on things that matter. Energy is a precious resource. You have a limited amount of it, and where you direct it matters. Stoicism reminds us that we should only invest in things that lead to personal growth and peace. If someone is consistently draining you without contributing positively to your life, it's time to let go. 5. Manipulation and deceit. Manipulation is a clear violation of trust and honesty, two pillars of any healthy relationship. If someone is deceitful or constantly trying to manipulate situations to their advantage, Stoicism would urge you to cut ties. Manipulators can make you question your reality, your decisions, and even your self-worth. This kind of toxic behavior is incredibly harmful to your mental well-being and emotional stability. Stoics like Epictetus remind us that we should always act in accordance with reason and truth. Manipulation is the opposite of that. It's a distortion of truth for selfish gain. Cutting off contact with a manipulator is about reclaiming your agency. It's a statement that you refuse to live in a relationship built on lies or emotional games. The Stoic approach here is clear. Walk away to protect your peace and preserve your sense of clarity and reason. 6. Lack of trust. Trust is the cornerstone of any healthy relationship. According to Stoic teachings, we should strive for relationships that foster trust and respect. When that trust is broken, the entire foundation of the relationship begins to crumble. You might be constantly second-guessing what the other person says, or doubting their intentions. When trust is gone, peace of mind follows. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, emphasized the importance of acting with integrity and reason. Without trust, living a virtuous and reasoned life within that relationship becomes impossible. If trust cannot be rebuilt despite efforts on both sides, it's time to question whether it's worth staying in the relationship. Walking away isn't a failure, it's an act of self-respect. It's about preserving your peace and investing your energy in relationships where trust is the foundation. 7. Abuse in any form. Whether it's emotional, physical, verbal, or psychological, abuse is a serious violation of Stoic values. Stoicism emphasizes respect, justice, and human dignity. If someone subjects you to harm, they are directly violating these principles. The Stoics were adamant that resilience doesn't mean tolerating mistreatment. It's about protecting yourself and acting with courage. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." But make no mistake, Stoicism never advocates enduring abuse. Instead, the Stoic response to abuse is clear. You must remove yourself from harm's way. Leaving an abusive situation is an act of courage, wisdom, and self-preservation. It's about standing up for your dignity and acknowledging that you deserve better. 8. Stagnation and lack of growth. Stoicism is all about continuous self-improvement. One of the key tenets of the philosophy is that we should always strive to become the best version of ourselves through wisdom, discipline, and virtue. But sometimes, relationships can hold us back. If a relationship feels stagnant, if it's not fostering growth but instead keeping you stuck in a rut, this is a clear sign that something is wrong. Relationships should push you to become a better person, not keep you comfortable in mediocrity. The Stoics believed that life is about learning and growing every day. If someone is hindering your growth, either by discouraging your ambitions or holding on to the status quo, it may be time to walk away. Don't allow someone else's complacency to keep you from fulfilling your potential. 9. Consistent selfishness. Relationships should be built on mutual care and support. But what if the person you're connected with is consistently selfish? They constantly prioritize their own needs over yours, leaving you feeling unheard, unsupported, and drained. Stoicism encourages us to contribute to the greater good, not just focus on our own desires. Marcus Aurelius said, "What is not good for the hive is not good for the bee." When someone in your life only looks out for themselves, they disrupt the harmony that Stoicism values so deeply. At first, Stoicism suggests communicating your concerns with calmness and clarity. But if the person remains stuck in their selfish ways, then it's time to reassess. A relationship where one person gives and the other only takes isn't aligned with a life of virtue. Cutting ties may be necessary to preserve your own well-being. 11th, disregard for boundaries. Personal boundaries are essential for maintaining your sense of autonomy and well-being. If someone consistently disrespects your boundaries, whether it's physical, emotional, or mental, they are disregarding your ability to make rational choices for yourself. Stoicism teaches us that while we can't control other people's actions, we can control our own. It's your responsibility to set and uphold your boundaries. If someone ignores them, it shows a lack of respect for your autonomy. Communicate your boundaries clearly and calmly. But if the person continues to violate them, Stoicism encourages you to step back. Boundaries exist for a reason. They protect your peace, dignity, and sense of self. Don't be afraid to walk away from someone who refuses to respect your limits. 12. Lack of mutual accountability. In any healthy relationship, both parties should hold themselves accountable for their actions. Whether it's owning up to mistakes, making amends, or striving to be better, mutual accountability is essential for trust and growth. If someone is never willing to admit when they're wrong, or refuses to take responsibility for their actions, it creates an imbalanced relationship. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of self-awareness and personal responsibility. Without mutual accountability, the relationship becomes a one-sided effort, leaving you to shoulder the blame and responsibility. This dynamic is not sustainable. It's better to walk away from someone who refuses to take responsibility for their actions, as this lack of accountability will only lead to frustration and emotional exhaustion. Conclusion. Cutting off contact with someone is never an easy decision, but sometimes it's the most necessary one for your own well-being and growth. Stoicism teaches us the importance of living in alignment with our values, protecting our peace, and cultivating relationships that foster virtue. If you recognize any of these signs in your relationships, it may be time to step back and make the hard choice to let go. Remember, the goal is not to be cold or detached, but to prioritize your own inner peace and personal growth. By letting go of relationships that no longer serve you, you open the door to a life of greater freedom, clarity, and fulfillment. Thanks for watching, and if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's keep this conversation going.